All right, everybody, it's another very early Friday morning and another Rings of Power episode to review. Yes, episode 6. It's called Udin, and Udin refers to a valley in Mordor. We'll get to that. This could be the best episode yet. There are no Harfoots, and there's a lot of action. Yeah, but don't get too excited. There's no Helm's Deep in this episode. It's more like Helm's Sleep. All right, this episode starts things off with Adar, and Adar is digging into the ground. He's planting some seeds. I had no idea why. We're going to learn why a little bit later. He's rallying his troops of orcs and bad men, and they march on to the one tower. Not the two towers, just the one tower here. And they get inside the keep, and it's empty. It's empty. And I hear Admiral Akbar out there saying, "It's a trap." And yes, it is, because Arondir, Don Lemonloss, he's hanging out in the catwalk area, and he fires an arrow. Once all the orcs are inside the walls, he fires an arrow that hits a thing, that hits a thing, that triggers a thing, triggers another thing, and brings the tower down onto most of the orcs, or maybe not many of the orcs, because there'll be more orcs later, but some of the orcs. All right, we'll go with that. And it seems that Bronwyn and all the people, they're far away down the hill, down the valley, looking at the tower coming down on the orcs. All right? And then we get on to our boats that have the Numenoreans on it. And Isildur shares an apple with a horse. And then he meets Galadriel. How ironic. And then his dad, Elendil, tells Lady Galadriel that his wife drowned. Okay, good to know. And then we cut to Arondir, Don Lemonloss, trying to destroy the hilt of the Sword of Sauron. And it just won't be destroyed. Just like the One Ring, you can't destroy it. And then Bronwyn's peeps, they left the keep and the one tower. They left the fortified tower to make their final stand in like an ordinary town. Doesn't seem very smart. I don't know. But that's what they decided to do. Good for them. And then Arondir promises the townspeople that if you do your part, I swear you'll see the sun rise again. And then there's kind of like silence, and he goes, "Do you believe?" And, you hear, "Yay! Do you believe? Yay!" It wasn't a very good speech, and the townspeople don't sound very enthusiastic, but what can you do? It's Don Lemonloss. And then Arondir, Don Lemonloss, gives Bronwyn some seeds to plant before the battle and explains that this is a elven tradition to give the seeds. I don't know. Is that in any Tolkien book? Do we know? Can someone let me know in the comments? I've never heard of that before, but hey, it's been a long time since I've read those books. And then Arondir tells Bronwyn that he wants to settle down with her and start a family, and they kiss. All right, so it's nighttime in this village, and the orcs are coming with their torches, all right? And Bronwyn is up on the hill near this cart, and she's trying to use a flint to start a fire. She can't start a fire, but don't worry, because there's a nosy orc walking by. She slays the orc, steals his torch, uses the torch to light the wagon with the hay, and sends the blazing wagon down on the orcs that are in the village. And for some reason, one wagon kind of gives all these orcs trouble. I don't know. It kind of traps them. Meanwhile, the humans are on the rooftops shooting arrows, and they come out with pikes and are attacking the orcs. And then Arondir just basically doesn't do much and gets beat up by this really big orc who really refuses to finish him off. I mean, there's this like lame moment where Arondir picks up like a piece of wood or something, splinter, and stabs the orc in the eye. But the orc still has Arondir in his hands and like puts him on this well and is leaning over him and pulls out the thing in his eye, and he's just gushing orc black blood all over Don Lemonloss's face. And then he's The orc's coming down with the splinter into like Don Lemonloss's eye, and it's like really close, like this close. Like, I mean, I don't know. But don't worry, because at the final last minute, Bronwyn will kill this orc and save Don Lemonloss. Of course. And just at that moment, I guess the battle is over. People cheer and, oh, we won. But as they're looking at the dead, they realize that, wait, these orcs are bleeding red blood, a lot of them. And they pull some helmets off and they realize, oh, we're fighting our own people. These are the men. They're the bad men that left you. But, these are the men. And then they hear in the woods nearby, oh, the orcs. The orcs actually didn't send in all the orcs. They sent in all the men to die first. And the orcs are coming now. And the battle starts all over again. All right, so I guess the townspeople, they use their chicanery and to kill these orcs, but the second wave of orcs is coming, and these are the real orcs. So Don Lemonloss and Bronwyn and these townspeople, they can't fight these orcs, so they got to run and hide in the tavern. Yeah, just like Shaun of the Dead. They're going to hide in the tavern. So they do that, and as they're trying to get to the tavern, townspeople are dying on the left and on the right, and Bronwyn gets hit with an arrow, and people are dying everywhere. Basically, Arondir did not keep his promise. A lot of people did their part, and they're not going to see the sunrise. Anyway, they get into the tavern, they shut the door, and they pull out the arrow, and Bronwyn, and blood is gushing everywhere. They cauterize the wounds. It'll be okay. And it'll be okay because we cut to the Numenoreans, and there are about 500 of them, and they're on their horses, like 500 horses. How all these horses and people got onto those 3 boats, I have no idea. And then we cut to a shot of Lady Galadriel. She's coming on her horse. The sun is rising. She's like King Theoden. Is it Theoden or Theoden? I forget. You know what I'm talking about, right? From those good movies. The horse people are on their way to save Don Lemonloss and Bronwyn. All right, so Adar easily breaks into the tavern and approaches Arondir and says, hey, give me that sword. Give me the hilt to the sword of Sauron. And Arondir's not having it. He's not saying anything, so Adar is just going to start killing townspeople, which basically means Arondir continues to not keep his promise, right? These people did what he said, and they continue to die. And Adar then goes to Bronwyn, right? And they're going to kill Bronwyn. And Arondir's not even saying anything. He's not going to give up the sword to save the woman he's going to start a family with, right? I mean, if I'm Bronwyn, I'm like, I ain't starting a family with you. Forget that. But finally, Theo speaks up and tells Adar that, hey, there's like a little door here. On the floor, you open it, and there's the sword. And so they open it, and Adar gets the sword. And just when things look bleak, the Numenoreans show up with Lady Galadriel, and it's on. That's right. And, this battle looked okay. Now, wait, I said it looked okay. It is not Helm's Deep. Remember, this is the Battle of Helm's Sleep, okay? Nothing in this episode looked better than the Peter Jackson movies. None of these battles compare. But it was the better episode of the previous, 5 that we've watched. It looked okay, all right? It was passable. And the horses are coming, and they got chains, and they run the chains through the orcs, right, to kill a bunch of orcs. And there's an orc that is going to shoot an arrow at Lady Galadriel, and she does this weird bend and back bend where she's facing the sky to dodge the arrow, and then she stays in that position and swings up to cut the head of the orc off. It did look pretty good. I kind of rewound that and checked that out. You go, girl. All right, so during the battle, Valendil kills a bunch of orcs. He's really good at fighting. And Ontamo sucks at fighting. These are friends of Isildur. Aren't all men of Numenor supposed to be good at fighting? Well, Ontamo really sucks. Muriel, the Queen Regent, is up on the hill doing nothing but watching, but she lets Isildur join the fight. How nice of her. Halbrand saves Elendil during the fight. That was interesting. Yeah. Lady Galadriel sees that Adar gets on his horse and rides off into the woods, and she grabs a horse and goes and follows him because he's got that sword hilt that's so important. Halbrand sees Galadriel take off, and he follows her. And I like this horse race. The horse racing through the woods, it did look really good. I got to give him props when it's good, and I thought that looked pretty decent. So we have Galadriel following Adar this way, and Halbrand comes this way, and he's got a spear, and he takes the legs out of Adar's horse, and Adar goes on to the ground. He's going to reach for the sword hilt, but Halbrand stabs his hand, and Halbrand asks him, "Do you remember me?" And Adar says, "No." And then Adar taunts him, "Was I someone that killed someone you love?" And then we see Halbrand get upset and maybe kill Adar, and Galadriel says, "Don't do it. We need him alive." She says, "You cannot satisfy thirst by drinking seawater." That's because what? Like Halbrand told her that, right? Is that how it went down? It's all foggy now, but I think that's what happens. Lady Galadriel interrogates Adar, and he confesses that he is one of the sons of the dark, one of the first corrupted elves, one of the first orcs. And Galadriel asks him, "Where is Sauron?" And Adar responds that he killed Sauron, that Sauron is dead. But Lady Galadriel does not believe that, my friends. No, no, no. Adar goes on to say that all these orcs are sort of his children, and we all come from the same creator, and we're all just looking for a home. He's trying to make Lady Galadriel sympathetic toward his cause, but I think he also believes that too, to a degree, because we saw him care for the orcs earlier in the series. So Lady Galadriel isn't having any of that. She says, "Your children are a mockery, and I'm going to let you live long enough so you can see me kill all of them." And then Adar says, "It seems I'm not the only elf transformed by darkness." This was a very good scene, even with Galadriel. I thought the two actors did a good job. It was kind of interesting to see these two characters interact. I don't think I've said this yet at all in this series, but yeah, I kind of enjoyed that scene. So Lady Galadriel's getting the darkness, and it looks like she's going to kill Adar, and Halbrand stops Galadriel from killing Adar. And Adar asks Halbrand, "Who are you? Who is he?" All right, so after that, Lady Galadriel and Halbrand, they're like doing some bonding. They're getting close, and I'm thinking, where is Lady Galadriel's husband, Celeborn? You know, he was in the Fellowship of the Ring. Where is he? I don't know. I don't know if the writers know. Next, Muriel introduces Bronwyn to Halbrand, and they ask him, "Are you the king of the Southlands?" And he says, "Yes, yes, I am." And then we cut to Theo. Theo is expressing loss for the sword hilt of Sauron. It's just like Bilbo Baggins would miss the One Ring. And so they think they have it all wrapped up, but when they unwrap it, they realize they don't have it. It's just a dirty old axe. So we learn that Waldreg, that bad human, he made off with the actual hilt of the sword of Sauron, and he's using his blood to make it grow. And he's at that shrine that we saw last episode, and he sticks the sword in and turns it because it's a key, remember? And earthquakes start happening and floods start happening, and the orcs that are captured are chanting Udun, Udun. And the tunnels they were building get flooded, and water leads down into the earth and causes like a big explosion, and basically a nearby mountain turns into a volcano. So is this Mount Doom? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if I care to look it up. But it creates like Mount Doom or Mount Doom 2.0. Basically, it's like Pompeii and all the fire and ash and rocks and like the whatever they're called, like meteors. I don't know what you call those things. Meteors that come out of a volcano. They're crashing down on people. It's just like Pompeii. It's fire and ash. And then we see all this like ash cloud come and embrace Lady Galadriel. And I was thinking, she's dead. Yay. But no, we get the trailer for next week and she's not dead, so that really sucks. All right, so I would say this is the best episode yet. That's not saying much, my friends. Again, this is the Battle of Helm's Sleep. This battle isn't better than any battle in the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies. If you want to talk about the Hobbit movies, I still think the Hobbit movies have better battles. Yeah, for sure. This isn't even close. This episode had no Harfoots. It had a lot of action. The dialogue wasn't as stupid. No, it wasn't as dumb. There's actually a good scene with Lady Galadriel where she's talking. So I didn't fall asleep tonight. This was not NyQuil. It's a prequel, but not NyQuil tonight. I stayed awake. So it's better, but the show still sucks. I think we have one episode left. I'm not sure, but I hope we do. All right, for those of you that have seen this episode, let me know what you think of Udun. Did you like it? Do you think it's the best episode so far? And for those of you that didn't watch it, but come for my reviews and my little shorter versions of what's going on, I greatly appreciate it. It's very late, and I'm very excited to go to bed now. And not watch any bad TV tomorrow. How about that? Cool. I'll see everybody around House of the Dragon time, that good show. So let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this episode, and smash that like button. Share my videos. Let's get some more subs this weekend, and I really appreciate the support, guys. All right, everybody, have a great day, a great week. I will see you soon, and as always, I will see you on the new. Have a great weekend.